All right, let's make everything clear. I don't mind CM Punk. CM Punk is cool. He seems to be intelligent. Uh, passive, pretty good in the ring. A decent mic worker. Like there's parts of Punk that makes him feel like, okay, I can see this guy on TV. He's not the biggest star, but he's a guy that always looked like he had the potential to be a star. We had fat, white neckbeard assholes crying at his entrance, while there was like a football stadium full of WWE or wrestling fans hyping over the factor of Brock Lesnar looking like a freaking butcher, looking like he's gonna kill a man if he's dead set, uh, looking like a star. People talking, whining. Why wasn't Brock Lesnar on SmackDown after facing off Roman Reigns? Nobody wanted to see Finn Balor. Everybody wanted to see Lesnar because Lesnar is a draw. Lesnar is an attraction. Lesnar is a star. Lesnar is somebody that you could wait a few weeks and you'll see him on pay per view because he's been through that. You wait months to see him fight on UFC. Now you wait months to see him on WWE. That's a big difference. That's a major difference. Just knowing like this is the attempt. CM Punk should not be wrestling at All Out like that. Why against a guy that's not that important? Why against a guy that has the bare minimum of build-up? If that's the case, why not you just have him face Darby Allin on Dynamite and you wait until pay-per-view to let him face off against a guy that he possibly can wrestle fine in the ring? And the biggest thing was his promo being like, I just want to have a wrestling match. Look, it's nice to see CM Punk back, and it's nice that he's getting back into the ring, but all it is it's nice. He's probably gonna have a few nice matches. He's not gonna have dream matches. He's not a prodigal draw that only gets you a 1.1, while whenever Lesnar's there, he gets you near 2 million. People's there whenever they see highlights of Raw, even if it's shit. You see him in segments with Samoa Joe. You see him in segments with Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns. You see him as a big star because he's treated as that, and he shows why he is that. You have Lesnar looking like he eats men. You have Punk looks like he sucks off men with those noodle arms, looking like a crack fiend, even though he's supposedly straight edge. And I'm not trying to proceed this so I can go over the negative factors to be like, oh, I hate CM Punk, or oh, I don't want fans to be happy. But I'm telling you, you have the bare extent of people that even used to watch pro wrestling go and watch AEW all because CM Punk has returned. Now I know people that are casuals or just don't watch pro wrestling anymore. That go over like other subjects in their channels to be like, oh, CM Punk came back. Okay, so Punk didn't even make a Rampage even the most viewed channel at that time slot. Lesnar came back and it was one of the biggest bought SummerSlams of recent memory. So you tell me, of the bare minimum, what makes Punk a draw? Awesome Truth and Lil Jimmy was more over than whatever CM Punk made a stupid promo bullying a 50-year-old John Laurinaitis and saying that he deserves to go over because he was a good wrestler. Boring. Now, am I gonna possibly watch All Out to see him wrestle? Yeah, probably so. There's nothing denying that. But over the bare minimum of other people talking about this in channels that you never even heard of, that's not gonna happen. Because Punk is just not that intriguing enough to give that factoid that I have to wait a pay per view to see a guy that looks like this wrestle. He's just not that extent of a draw. People called over that he's gonna get at least over 250,000. And guess what? Rampage only picked up like a 1.2 or 1.1 over them having 700,000. They're still not getting as much as they when they premiered back in 2019, guys. There should be a higher extent other than the wrestling fan base being happy. The whole people watching at home should be happy. You get to see a guy that had a 7-year hiatus. A guy that was UFC but got his ass kicked. A guy that's going over this extent amount of demands for shit that he didn't even deserve. And the most I get to see him is a return on pay-per-view against a guy like the bare minimum of casual AEW fans know. Darby Allin's cool. Don't get me wrong. There's times where Darby Allin's cool. I just wish he didn't always look like a teenage son next to Sting, and actually had a more persona into like his daredevil aspect, other than being like, he didn't punch in at work. You were always 13 minutes late. That's why I'm gonna kick your fucking ass. And I know we're edgy because we cuss when we say shit, fuck every other week on Dynamite or Rampage. That shows that we're an edgy, fun TV show. No, it doesn't. That makes you go on TBS after 2 years. Ha! Just knowing, like, this is the bare extent, because I don't even know people that even are that autistic to still watch American Dad reruns, coming around and seeing some pro wrestling show that they barely even see on TNT after they're done watching NHL or NBA primetime games. And I'm not trying to say this to just show my extent of, like, dismay with AEW, but it just shows, like, how much people are willing to overrate stuff without looking at the bigger picture if anybody else is watching it. You think I'm always happy about the viewership I get in my YouTube channel? You it's not good. You think other people would be happy if they're only stuck with their core audience watching their content when they think every week they're trying to make their content bigger? Punk is not one of those things. Punk is just there to just issue over a promo, and even though he's not even that larger than life to even get that much of one pay-per-view match in his return. If that's the extent, they should be building a storyline involving Darby Allin and CM Punk, but they're not. Because what does this guy have to offer? If the last time we've seen this guy do anything conceiving around physical, like a combat sport, if we're actually displaying AEW as that, even though they use Space Jam Meltzer drivers, yeah, sports like my ass. And just knowing that he had two UFC fights were the worst pieces of shit I've ever seen. You could see hood scraps do better than this. Women fights, not even female UFC fights. They're female WWE wrestling matches. Women fights where they're dragging weaves, ripping off clothes, and you see them their bra nearly collapsing. Scuffles where they're scratching their own face. Like women fights, like guys, they wait for each other to get up. Women fights wait until everything about them is dismantled. If you haven't seen them, they're awful look. And just knowing, like, this is the bare minimum of what we're getting. I can wait for Brock Lesnar to show up a certain time on Raw and SmackDown. Because he's shown that he's a big attraction. He's a draw. Punk isn't. And a 1.1 is what AEW fans are happy about. They should be doing more advertising. You have a guy that hasn't shown up in 7 years on a bigger promotion than yours. You should be advertising this. You should be showing reasons why he would show up. What makes him big? What is CM Punk? Who was CM Punk? That should be your selling point. Everybody knows outside of pro wrestling who Brock Lesnar is. That's what makes him a draw. That's what gets him over. You know he's a killer. He looks like a killer. He does stuff that makes him a killer. I don't get that. I don't get that mentality. If you're happier to see CM Punk than Brock Lesnar, I can get that. But like the show, the just saying outright that Brock Lesnar's more somebody I would rather watch than Punk, for AEW fans, are just gonna tell me to kill myself. But that's it coming for me. Thanks for watching.